Hello, mixtresses and mixters. This is Mixtress Ray. You're watching Mixtress Video. We're going to do a pick-a-pile reading for the Scorpio full moon of May 2020. But if you happen to see this video sometime in the future, just know that there's something in it that is ready for you at this time, because not everyone will see this video for the Scorpio full moon. If you see it on a different full moon, it might be that for your particular energy, you're dealing with more of the Scorpio full moon in November or whatever it is for you. Okay, let's do this, guys. I'm excited to bring you a pick-a-pile reading today. I know I did one pretty recently, but I just feel called to do one again today. So here we are. So you'll be picking, the only difference between these stacks, it's all the same oracle cards, it's just the tarot that's different. So under the fluorite heart, we have that 90s tarot. Under the rose quartz heart, we have just a regular Rider-Waite-Smith tarot. And then under the fire agate heart, we have it's actually, the card that you're seeing is from Star Power Tarot, but I've mixed together. I picked my favorite of each card from the Star Power Tarot and the Moon Power Tarot, which are by the same artist. Charlie Quintero. Oh no, I don't have it right in front of me to tell you her name. But she is on Etsy and Instagram under 6 Sad Girls. So you can order her decks there. That 90s tarot, not sure where to get that, but you can just Google it. Anyway, all of these things that I'm showing you today are readily available, of course. Or not necessarily, of course, but they are. So, take some time while I am lighting our candles and all of that stuff, and I'll be doing a little bit of babbling as well. Take your time deciding which deck you want to go with here. Take some deep breaths. Actually, I need to anoint I'm going to anoint our spell candle. I chose yellow as our spell candle today for clarity, because that's what I'm getting in like all the readings I've been doing lately, especially the collective readings, is that we need a little bit more clarity. I'm going to use, I've started just like, I have a pretty good collection of like Black Phoenix Alchemy Lab and Posset's perfumes, and I don't actually wear them that often, but I've found that I really like using them to anoint candles and to just like rub on my hands, because I'm kind of a perfume nerd, but I've gotten to a point where I wear like my signature scent, and that's basically it. Sorry about the random ramblings, but I feel like there's somebody that needed to hear that it's okay that you have a million perfumes and you can use them for other things. Seriously, I love just like rubbing like a little bit into my palms, especially if you really like the smell of it, but it like doesn't last very long on your skin if you use it as a perfume. It's really fun to do it like that. Oh, this voodoo is so good too. Okay. And voodoo's a really good like for spell work, for like cleansing a space, because it has a lot of like really like spiritually oils in it, scents in it, and it's really great all around. Okay, so our intention today with the full moon in Scorpio, it's going to be intense, you guys. I don't know if the readings are going to be intense. I've kind of glanced at them, but I decided to go off the cuff today, and I haven't taken any notes for any of the piles. I don't know. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Today I decided not to. But make sure that you guys can see the whole flame. Yeah, that'll work. So the intention today, set your own, of course, but if you don't have a specific one in mind, we're going to be focusing on the intensity of the Scorpio full moon and how we can harness the power of that intensity and passion and Kundalini energy, which is kind of like snake, essential, divine feminine energy, if I understand it correctly. We're going to be calling in the power of the intense full moon and Scorpio energy in order to support us in releasing, just releasing all that shit, you know, like we've been shaking it loose for a while now, shaking loose the bullshit that we don't need anymore. But it's time to finally it's bubbled up to the surface, and it's time to actually pluck it out at this point, I feel. So the focus of the reading, the intention is going to be to like harness that powerful, passionate Scorpio intensity in order to, I feel like it's the best. I feel like with the readings that I've been doing, I've been getting a lot of like, it's time to manifest, but full moons are not for manifesting. Full moons are for releasing. But I feel like we need to manifest that last bit of energy to push it out. You know, it's like taking that deep breath before that last push when you're birthing a baby, you know? That's what we're doing. So we're manifesting and we're pulling in, and we're harnessing energy to let something go. So let's spray. I'm going to spray this Palo Santo spray. Sprayed it right on my window, but I'm going to kind of do a 4-direction thing. And then we will light our spell candle and our incense, and just another like black candle just for some grounding Scorpio energy. And because I always use black. In perfect love and perfect trust. For all of our highest and best collective well-being. That might need to be relit. Okay, let's get into it. So I went a little crazy with the Oracle cards, you guys. I was planning to pull like, well, how many was I planning to pull? Like 6 Oracle cards, and I ended up at the very last minute when I had all the piles ready to go. I just realized, oh, it's a Scorpio. It's a Scorpio. I need one of the Halloween Oracle cards too. Like the Halloween Oracle was just like, what about me? So, yeah, we got a lot of cards today for each pile. Okay. So hopefully you've chosen your pile by now. If not, pause and take all the time that you need. Let's start with pile 1. So we'll take away these other 2. Pile 1 with the fluorite heart. I just kind of want to show this to you guys just because it's so freaking gorgeous. Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay. And you all know how I do if you've been here for any length of time. I take forever arranging the cards exactly how I want them. So while I'm doing that, I'm going to try to get better about showing you guys the cards up close as well. Lady de los Muertos from Halloween Tarot, Acceptance and Equality. Sort of our moral center. This is kind of the you should do this card I'm taking from the Amenti Oracle. I honor virtue. So that's your like principle, your morality focus for this reading. And I'm just going to set these wherever I feel like setting them, and that's going to kind of determine the course of the reading a little bit. Your animal spirit card is the snake. So you're actually the reason why I chose the wording in the intro of Kundalini energy, because I think that particularly applies to you. And it's kind of grounding you right now in your, whatever the crotch chakra is. I forgot what that's called. Your goddess is Terra. Protection. I'm gonna kind of like prop it up so that it hopefully has a little less glare. She's just shining with divine light. And the light in the aggressively nice day that we have here. Your Vintage Wisdom card. This is kind of, I use this as like a focus, like a keyword focus for you. So it'll kind of ground us whenever whenever I start babbling about other stuff, I need to bring myself kind of back to whatever this keyword is, which is dreams for you. And I've chosen today, still not completely used to the Archetypes Oracle deck. Still not sure exactly how to use it. So I'm bringing it in today kind of for me as well as you. Let's just kind of turn it around to see if we should think about whether or not it's, even though I'm going to turn it right side up no matter what. It already is. The comic. And this actually isn't that bad. Like, it doesn't seem like that many cards because I really zoomed out today. An Everyday Witch Oracle card. And this is kind of going to be your sort of homework, sort of assignment for this particular moon cycle. And for you, it's air magic. Okay, so now I got to choose. So your homework needs to be kind of over here in a future quadrant. Okay, let's start babbling. What do we think? What do we think about this? So you got 8 of Cups, Knight of Cups, and Page of Swords for your tarot journey. Dreams, comic snake protection. There's a lot going on. It's a very confusing. I'm not really getting, I feel like I'm getting like 1,000 voices right now. So I feel like it's possible that a lot of people chose this pile, or you are just feeling very confused right now. As far as like the energies that you would like to harness for this full moon, let's kind of look at our keywords here. We have dreams, comic, protection, virtue, acceptance, equality. I feel like there's like definitely a morality, ethical component to your reading. Because Knight of Cups is at the center, I'm willing to bet that you, and for the purposes of this reading, you are represented by the Knight of Cups, which could mean that you are a Pisces, or it could mean that you are just a very, very romantic soul. The Knight of Cups is kind of like, it's just the romantic. It's the romantic of the court cards. And dreams. I feel like the reason why this is so confusing to me right now is because it's, the message that I'm getting is that you should, and of course, anytime I say the word should, take that with a huge grain of salt, because it's all based on what would work best for you, and only you can know that. But I feel like there is definitely a push to pay attention to your dreams right now, to like allow yourself sort of the luxury of fantasy right now. You know, you have this beautiful flowing energy with the snake, which tells me that you've got a, is it your root chakra? That's the crotch chakra. I'm sorry, I keep calling it crotch chakra. But I feel like you have a rooting of passion and you have like all of this love. So like if this is kind of like the aligned elements of your being, and as above, you've got this gorgeous, healing, loving, forgiving energy in Terra, this protected energy. I feel like you are free right now to really like spend some time daydreaming, like follow your passions. All that love that you want to spread out into the world, do it. Because, and I'm not necessarily married to the idea of this being past, present, and future, but usually when I pull 3 cards for these pick a card readings, my general idea is to think of it as past, present, and future. So if we're going with that trajectory here, if we're thinking of it in a linear way, you've already done this departure. You've had this moment of walking away from something. And now you're in a space that's much more free-flowing, where you have the opportunity to really just like laugh and daydream and follow your passions and be like romantic about everything. And eventually you will head into a Page of Swords category, which would mean for some of you, it's just literally you're going to be going back to school in the fall. And it's kind of a more serious shift, but a page is still a student. And so you're going to be heading into something that's a little bit more mentally focused than where you are right now. Where you are right now, everything is passion and love and dreaming and just free thought. It's just, I feel like your mind is sort of joyously jumping around, and there's just hearts everywhere and rainbows, and you're just kind of like letting yourself just free float in the universe and letting your creativity and your passions and your love for life just take you wherever. You're just like riding on the wave of whatever the fuck you want to do right now and whatever the fuck you want to think about. And it's really exactly where you're supposed to be right now. Like this comic card, every time this shows up, this is kind of my don't take life too seriously, my stop making sense, sort of like anytime I see something like this, it's just absolutely ridiculous. And it's a little scary. The imagery's a little scary, but I feel like you're in this space. You might even be like, if you're one of the people that is finding yourself at home right now and with some time off, I feel like you might be using some of that time to like smoke a little bit of extra pot, or like you're exploring the recesses of your mind in a way that is joyful for you right now. And the presence of Terra at the top is telling me that this is not a bad thing for you. You know, like the devil card didn't show up here or something like that. Terra showing up as your sort of like goddess, your goddess for the month, is saying that you are protected as long as you take care of yourself and make sure that you are respectful of the earth, respectful of your loved ones, respectful of yourself. As long as you take the basic steps to protect yourself, the rest of it, you are protected. Terra is here for you, and she's telling you that you are supported in the crazy daydreamy rainbow world that you're finding yourself in right now. As far as your virtue, acceptance, and equality, I have the guidebook for Halloween Tarot here right now, or Halloween Oracle. I might pull it up real quick just to see like what the guidebook kind of says about this energy. But as far as air magic, this is sort of your homework for the month. And because you're headed towards a sword / air, you're headed towards, like, right now you're kind of like all over the place with your thinking, but you're headed towards more of a focus. There will be more of a focus. There will be more clarity coming up. But so in order to support that, or if you kind of get to a point where you just feel like, oh my God, my brain is going everywhere. And like, sometimes it's fun, but sometimes it's just like a trip that I'm ready to be over. Like, when are these drugs going to wear off? For some of you, realistically, some of you just metaphorically, as far as like the daydreams. And it could even be like, pay attention to your literal dreams right now, guys, because you might be able to harness that into. Another thing about the Page of Swords is she's a writer. Not literally Veronica Mars, who's depicted in this card, but the Page of Swords is a writer. This is a person that like could be a poet, especially married to the Knight of Cups. Could be a poet. You could be a lyric writer. Like, in order to, if you're looking for more ideas and how to harness all of this crazy, daydreamy, rainbow, free thinking energy that you have going right now, write it down, you know, focus it a little bit. That could be your form of air magic. And he's even holding in his hand a feather. It could have some ink on it. He could be getting ready to write something. You never know. Burn some incense. That's air magic. If you find a feather, pick it up. If that's something that you're called to do. Like, if any way, that's your homework. That is like any way that you can harness air magic. Any way that you can harness a way to sort of focus the crazy directions that your brain is going in right now, because you're creating like new neural pathways right now that are just like, they're pretty trippy in a good way, but it can get a little bit overwhelming at times. But that's okay. That's all right. I feel like you've already done the hard part though. I mean, for some of you, you're not completely past this Eight of Cups moment. So if you have something in your own life that you know you are ready to walk away from, it's past time. It's past time to walk away from that. And if you're not feeling all of these beautiful, like, crazy rainbow thoughts and all the stuff that I've been describing, pay attention to your dreams, because there might be something hidden in there that's kind of letting you know what this is for you. What is the thing that you need to walk away from? The emotional cups that are overturned, that it's time to walk away from. And this is something that's not all bad. With the Eight of Cups, it's not usually something that's all bad, although with this particular deck, it is depicting all 8 cups upside down. So maybe for this particular situation, it is all bad, and it has been for a while. I think for most of you that picked this pile, you've already passed this stage. But for those of you that haven't, this is a gentle reminder / slap in the face that it is time. It is time to let it go, because there's all kinds of crazy potential for you guys. Like, some of you all are going to publish books, you know? Like, there's some really cool creativity in this group. And if you haven't let go of the thing that it's time to walk away from yet, then this is your sign. It's time. Whatever that thing is for you. And if you don't know what it is, pay attention to your dreams, because there's going to be some indications there. Okay, I'm going to look up, since I have the guidebook here for Halloween Oracle, I just want to see like what jumps out to me as far as Lady de los Muertos. Pale, you step out of the night in red lace, full flowers upon your crown. You bring the beauty to death, the equality and joy of the underground. Iconic Lady of Death. I'm just going to kind of like sort through and see. Flamboyant Lady of Death can be traced back to ancient Aztec goddess Mictlantecuhtli. Mictlantecuhtli. I'm definitely saying that wrong. As time went on, the figure remained balanced between beauty and horror, and morphed into Lady of the Dead, and eventually into the more modern graphic figure of Katrina. It is also reported the identity of the original Katrina was based on women who were very rich and had everything they wanted in this life, yet death takes everyone equally. So it was a reminder that no matter how beautiful, rich, popular, or famous you were, in the end, death takes all. The Mexican culture has a long-standing history of laughing at death. So here we go. So, okay, this could be simplify and let go. Acknowledging that death is a natural process will enter everyone's life at some time, and that perhaps until then, we can choose to be life-affirming. Takes away much of the fear. So, let's see, what do I think about this? sort of a reminder that whatever death you are faced with right now, and this could even just be like she's wearing a mask, and if you go from like what the guidebook just said about like a rich woman that has everything, death still takes her. So there could be like a little bit of a nudge for some of you that picked pile 1. Maybe you're tempted to, maybe you're in this sort of like really beautiful rainbow brain state, and in that mindset there might be times where you're not taking the current global crisis quite seriously enough. I think most people are taking it too seriously, in the sense of like just letting fear envelop us too much. But I think for a lot of y'all Knight of Cups, pile 1 people, it may be that there's just like, there's a moment, there's at least a moment that will happen in the next month, or a couple of moments, where you'll be reminded of this card. You'll be reminded of the fact that, you know, death takes all of us, in the very literal sense of like, we are all the same. So this could be, for some of you, you might be in a space where you know, that moment, that knee-jerk reaction you have whenever somebody is dealing with a situation in a way that you don't understand, that doesn't make sense to you, and you just like automatically judge them. Remember that to honor virtue is to honor that we are all at different places in our path, and that we are all the same. We are all made of the same stuff. We are all victims of circumstance. You know, we all die no matter what. So if you find yourself being like jealous of somebody that seems to have it all, or angry at someone that's not reacting to things the way that you think they should react to things, because you do honor virtue, you think it's just common sense. Like, I don't think, at first I was like, maybe some of y'all aren't taking it seriously, but I think you are taking it seriously, and because it's just natural for you, because you are a virtuous person that genuinely wants the best for everyone around you. So you don't understand, like, you kind of are this Terra energy even a little bit. Like, you bring sort of that beautiful protection and compassion and love, and like just being in your presence feels like being hugged by you. So you don't understand when people don't, because a lot of people really don't see us all as equal. And it's frustrating to be in a world where it just seems so fucking simple, that like, of course we're all equal. We all want the same things. We are all the same. Like, of course. Like, how can it be anything else? And it can be easy to be really angry at people that aren't there yet. But some of those people can actually still be reached if you treat them with kindness. So your homework for this month, remind yourself that we are all the same, even in the sense of like, even people that don't accept that we're all the same, even people that are prejudiced, even we have something in common with them. Unfortunately, we can connect to absolutely anyone, even people that are pretty damn shitty. Doesn't mean we should have those people in our lives. We definitely are capable of walking away from energies that aren't good for us, but we can accept that these people exist. We can accept that they are a part of this world and that they deserve love too in some capacity. Doesn't mean we have to love them, but there's just like a certain like level of solace and peace that is the only like gentle nudging that I have for you. Like, keep doing your like crazy rainbow thoughts thing. It is a good thing, and it will lead to creativity that you can share with the world. If you aren't sharing it with the world yet, you'll get there. Just add a little air magic into your life, whatever that means for you. That could even just mean like going outside on a windy day and letting the wind just like blow through your hair or on your scalp if you don't have hair, and just like let it flow through you, and just take a deep breath in the air and the wind and just let it happen. Or lighting incense, or feathers, or, you know, just hanging out and watching birds from your window, you know. Harness that air magic in whatever way that you can. So that is my beautiful message. I feel like I talked a long time for group number 1. Yeah. Wow. Okay, so this is going to be a long reading. Time for pile number 2. If you chose the rose quartz heart, here it is. We're going to put it right here on the eyeball. The order that I actually pulled these cards so I can put them in the right placement for you guys. From the Halloween Oracle, you got Apple, Risk, and Reward. From the Amenti Oracle, so this is kind of the Amenti Oracle I'm using as sort of your gentle, moral and ethical, kind of the idiom, the rule to live by for the coming month. So for you, I care for the earth. So being really like, come on, you can focus. Being really like community minded is a good thing for you. Your animal spirit, sort of your grounding animal, sort of your root chakra turtle. Actually, I want to put your goddess up at the top here. Your goddess is Psyche, persistence. Your vintage wisdoms. This is kind of like the key word that we will focus on throughout your reading. Reflection. Come on, baby. There we go. Is it focusing? Kind of? Yeah. From the Archetypes Oracle, the Shaman. Should really be able to get in there and see the symbolism here. And then the Everyday Witch Oracle, this is kind of going to be your homework. So sort of like the thing that would help for you to do this month. Hibernation and regeneration. For some of us, it's like, yeah, I've been fucking doing that. I'm so sick of it. But the overall message for you in group 2 is there's a certain level of impatience going on for all of us right now. So it's not just you. I do kind of want to put this card down here as more of an earth, more of a grounded card, so it can be at the bottom. There we go. So for you guys, there's a certain level of impatience that you're experiencing, possibly through quarantines, or it could be just a level of just personal impatience that you guys are having right now. Because things are slower than you'd like them to be. But you are being offered a new opportunity in your physical life, whether that's a new job or a new way to make money, or maybe you're moving to a new house, or I'm really just getting the sense that you're ready for this big change, but you're ready for it to start. And you've been waiting for it to start for a long time. It's all happening very slowly this hibernation and regeneration period. Unfortunately, as far as, you know, this being your homework for the month, it tells me that if you're already in that period of hibernation and regeneration, you feel like you've been kind of in a purgatory waiting space, and I think for a lot of you, you do feel that way right now. This tells me you're going to be there for a bit longer. A bit longer than you want, because you're already so done with it. But Psyche is saying, your goddess of the month, she's saying that persistence is still needed. And risk and reward, we're going to pull out, I did this for pile 1, so I'm going to pull out the Halloween Oracle Guidebook to kind of get more insight into that card. But it's just really, your reading is just really urging you to, you're going to be able to make that new beginning. It's kind of being offered to you now, but you can't quite take it yet, but you're going to be there. You're going to be at just like a total paradigm shift, you're going to be entering a new phase, even if it's just simply going back to life again after quarantines. Even if that's the situation that you're finding yourself in, where you're going to go back to the same job, but I think for a lot of you, you're not going to be going back to the same job, or it's going to be different. You're going to be able to find yourself in a moment of feeling brand new. Even if you're going back to the same job, you're going to feel brand new in that job. Not in the sense that like you're not going to know what you're doing anymore, but you're going to be able to have a totally new perspective on it, which is really great. But in order to have that, you have to do your hibernation and regeneration. Or if you're not doing that yet, if you haven't taken time off, or maybe you can't take time off, but if you haven't taken some moments to really allow yourself to admit what's happening, because the world is different. The world is going to be different when we all resume society again. It's going to be irrevocably changed. And there's a certain level of acceptance that you haven't gone into yet. Your little moral reminder here, this deck, the Amenti Oracle, is based on the 42 principles of Ma'at. And it's all like virtuous moral guidelines and stuff. So I care for the earth being yours seems to suggest that there is something more that you could be doing. Like, there's some semblance of acceptance that we are all in this together, and it's going to be hard for a while, that you haven't really been able to fully contend with. Some sort of practical measures that you're not taking, that you know you could be taking. And this is all of this is just saying, just kind of like letting you know that it's going to take time, but you're going to get there. And whatever you're impatient to happen is not going to happen as quickly as you want it to, but that doesn't mean it's not going to happen. And reflection being your like general keyword, just kind of like the thing that we need to keep circling back to is reflection. Because there's a certain level of like going within with the hermit. Well, I mean the turtle, but essentially turtles are hermit energy, no matter where you see them. There's a certain level of like reflection that you just haven't done yet. And the shaman card showing up too almost says, if there is kind of an inkling within you saying maybe you should consult, like whoever that is for you, whatever shaman energy you have sought out in the past maybe, or you're thinking about seeking out, like if you're looking for a tarot reader. I could pull my little business card out for you if you want a reading. All my readings are 50% off. I'll just put that there for you. Not to say that you need it, because reflection is something you can always do. You don't need you don't need a deck of tarot cards. You don't need like some spiritual person to tell you. But I think there's a level of like resistance. I'm feeling a level of resistance from you as far as like accepting where you are right now and what you need to do right now. So if you needed some kind of like reminder to reflect, then here it is. Whatever that is for you. If you like to journal, do it. I'm always telling people to journal. That's because that's my level of like, I'm able to just like start writing, just like write about every single tiny little thing. Like, I'm cold right now. Maybe I should get a sweater. Okay, got a sweater. You know, like, and then eventually, like when all that babbling, like the clouds clear from the babbling, I might actually get to the root of whatever it is that I'm thinking about. I think this devil energy is something that like is kind of staring you in the face and tempting you, and there's just like this level of darkness that you haven't faced yet. And that doesn't necessarily, it's not necessarily like a huge big scary thing, but it is something that it's time to face. And if you need to consult someone outside of yourself in order to get those juices flowing, like if the thought of just sitting down with a journal and like figuring out what you feel, it doesn't have to be a journal. It could be like just talking out loud to yourself, by yourself. It could just really be like traveling to like, and travel like lightly, like going to your backyard or going to a cemetery, or, you know, going to some like nature setting that you enjoy being in and just letting your thoughts go. I think there's a certain level of reflection that you just have not done yet. And it's time to do that. It's time to like put yourself in a state of rest. And I'm really getting like rest your body. For a lot of people, I'm really getting that, like, in order to care for yourself and care for the earth, it's time to stop for a second and look around and reflect. And if you feel like you need to consult someone else to get that process going for you, or maybe you've recently had some kind of reading, like maybe you had a session with a Reiki practitioner or a tarot reader or something like that. This is like a nod to like whatever you got in that reading, pay attention to it. This is a nod to that. And this is if this is the only reading that you've encountered in the last couple of months, then apparently I'm the shaman. Listen to me. And I'm telling you, there's something, and it's not huge, again, and it could even just be that you have to face sort of the devil of your impatience, because I feel like there's definitely a level of impatience here, because things are going to take longer than you want them to take, but that new beginning is waiting for you. It's in the future. It's there. How far in the future? I don't know. I wish I could tell you. But it's going to take some persistence. It's going to take some rest and sort of retreat into yourself, reflection, all of that stuff. Unfortunately, you're still in that waiting period. And that's really the only thing I can tell you is you're still in that waiting period. And there's a big block with you. Like I feel like I can't even tell you anything else about your reading because you're blocking me, which is fine, because it's not about me, it's about you, and you can only get out of this what you're willing to put into it, you know, like not like this reading in general, but you can only get out of this life what you're willing to put into it. And there's something that you're resisting. There's something that you've got a firewall up for sure. Okay, I'm going to pull let me get out the Halloween Oracle just to look at Apple really quick. Look, I pulled right to it. Apples have been a symbol of Samhain for a very long time. So Samhain being Halloween. Apples, when cut in half, have a seed pattern that looks like a pentagram. Okay, blah, 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 blah. Talking about games, candy apples. Apples have been an iconic part of mythos from ancient times to modern. The story of the poison apple in Snow White, to the Roman goddess Pomona's magical apple tree, to the Christians' tempting fruit in the Garden of Evil. Should you receive this apple in your reading? So this is very much like a Garden of Eden apple situation too. Like the fact that I put that right next to the devil, I didn't even make that connection till right now. Should you receive this apple in your reading, it's time to look at how risk plays out in your life. Are you hedging your bets and not trying anything new? Do you want change but are not willing to change anything? I'm going to say that again. Do you want change but are not willing to change anything? That could be your block right there. Are you willing to risk to get a greater reward? Or alternately, are you risking too much too often? I think since this reading is for more than one person, it could be either of those things. Either you're not risking enough or you're risking too much. I'm really getting the feeling that the biggest pull for you is to allow yourself to rest and retreat. So that tells me that whatever you're doing right now, it is too much risk. You're involving too much risk in your life. Maybe you're like trying to pretend that this whole pandemic thing isn't happening and you're like going to work even though you don't have to, or you're putting yourself in risky situations too often. I think for you, you're taking too many risks, but for some of you guys watching this, you're not taking enough risks. But I'm getting the message that no matter what, even if you are taking too little risks instead of too many, you're still in a waiting period where like huge things are coming, but they're not here yet. And so that even could be an urge to those of you that are taking too many risks. It hasn't resulted in bad consequences yet, and there's still time to kind of pull back. So this is your gentle warning and reminder that I'm getting so much resistance too. I feel like if I get nasty comments, it's gonna be from you guys. And that doesn't mean that I have any animosity towards you, or that doesn't mean that like I have any ill will towards you or bad feelings about you. It just means that where you are right now, you are resisting. And you're not even ready to hear a lot of this right now. But it's going to take more time. You're going to, the Fool being in your future position right here, that's a beautiful thing. Like, that's a beautiful thing. You're going to be starting a new beginning. But it's going to require... Psyche is being very stern with you right now. She is the one, I feel like it's not telling you to be persistent, unless it's persistent in forcing yourself to slow down and stop and take a breath and reflect. But she's being persistent. Whatever those like higher messages you get, whether you attribute that to ancestors, goddesses, your higher self, whatever that is for you, whatever that persistent message that keeps coming from that sort of most knowledgeable part of yourself, that little inkling in the back of your head that you're refusing to completely pay attention to right now, whatever that is, the message is gonna keep coming through. It's going to be as persistent as it needs to be to get you where you need to go. But you're going to have to rest and hibernate and regenerate. You're going to have to heal. You're going to have to stop taking so many risks. And make your decisions in a more community-minded way. Okay? I feel like y'all are going to be mad at me for that reading. But I don't see any like shitty stuff on the horizon. It's just a warning that like whatever you're doing right now could be harming you or harming others. And just make sure that you try to make all of your decisions based on the good of yourself and others. Just kind of shift it back to empathy whenever you start getting in that space where you just want to fucking do it. You just want to, just consequences be damned. Just remind yourself that now is not the time for consequences be damned. Unfortunately, we have to be in this sort of stasis state for a little bit longer in order for us all to come out of this healthy and happy. Okay, time for pile number 3. For those of you that chose the fire agate, I am going to spray a little bit of Palo Santo right now. So there was some just going to clear the air a little bit before this reading. Okay. All right. So this is my, I've combined my Star Power and Moon Power decks. I picked my favorite of each card because it's from the same artist and it's the same card stock, so, and the same size and all of that. So it's just really fun to have these two decks together. I am not sure. I feel unsure about the, I'm going to close my eyes so that I'm not like, so that I don't know where that Page of Swords is. My eyes are closed, and I'm going to set these out and then flip. Okay. So, this is the actual order. You got 5 of Swords. All swords. Page of Swords. Hello. Where's your focus spot? There we go. You guys, I'm thinking about getting an actual video camera. I'm so excited. Instead of just using my phone all the time. So I feel like that would be so much better for you guys. Kind of pour this wax a little bit so we can get more of a flame going there. Okay. All right, and then I'm going to do like a little close-up of your oracle cards, and I'm going to kind of place them about wherever it feels like they want to be, and then we'll use the directionality in the reading to kind of like further inform your reading. So this is from the Halloween Oracle. You got Strength, Skeleton, and Strength. Come on. Where do you want to focus? There we go. Nope, I will be focused only if you hold this card right here. I feel like this needs to be down here to kind of ground you. Strength wants to be right next to your Animal Spirit card. So once we pull that, we'll put it there. This is your Amenti Oracle card. So this is kind of your moral and ethical reminder, something to kind of keep as a mantra in your mind this month. I consume only my fair share. Your Animal Spirit card is Zebra. This to me is just like a reminder that like you're a damn weirdo and that's okay. That's okay. Let your freak flag fly. Look at all this stripey energy we got going here. Stripey in the zebra, stripey there, stripey here. Your goddess is Hell, Rebirth. Look at her. Look at her though. She is fucking fantastic. Oh, the incense has gone out. I have burned an entire stick of incense while I've been in here. That's crazy. Okay, let's go ahead and light you a new stick here. I'm gonna pull I don't usually use my Japanese incense. I feel like you guys deserve some sandalwood action. Japanese sandalwood. May not be able to stick this one in the incense holder. It's a little thicker. Let's see if it works. No, I don't think it's going to. Oh, there we go. Yeah, it is. Nice. Oh, you can't even see hell. It's too bright. I think you need to see her. What can we use to prop her up? You see her now? God, no, not really. Maybe if I bend the card a little bit. Better. Okay. A little bit better. It's still kind of bad. Okay, whatever. Vintage wisdom. This is kind of our keyword that we're going to, whenever I start babbling and I need to like refocus myself with your reading, this is kind of the word to come back to. Strength. Again, strength is your word because you got it over here with the skeleton. Your archetypes. Archetypes oracle card. The crone. And then this is kind of your homework for the month in the Everyday Witch Oracle. So what is your homework? To listen to wisdom. Here we got that crow energy again. There's a lot of like really gothic vibes going on here. Also kind of want to see. For you, strength is coming from on high, and it's kind of grounding you from below. So this is who you are. The zebra is who you are, and you can't change that. And that's a good thing. And I think sometimes in your life you haven't seen it as a good thing, but you are reconciling some pieces of your identity right now. You are yourself going through rebirth, like as suggested by the Hell card here. I am also going to, I did not do this with the other two piles, and I meant to, but I'm remembering with you, so I'm still going to do it. This is the goddess deck. It's called Legendary Ladies Goddess deck. Hell is a Norse goddess. I really like this guidebook because it's just like one tiny little paragraph, and it's so nice and simple. It's time to relinquish and release what isn't working for you, which, hey, is every full moon's energy, right? It's always difficult to acknowledge an ending, but Goddess of Death, Hell, is here to remind you that it's the only way to find yourself at a new beginning. So there's something that, like, some piece of your identity that you have recently come to terms with. And you're in this beautiful moment right now, this beautiful Page of Swords moment where you're like, you're integrating those aspects of yourself and you don't know how to go forward. It's like in the past you were lying to yourself about a certain aspect of your identity and you've learned to accept it. So here you are with your freak flag flying and all the colors, and you're playing your little theremin and you're being your weird self, and you've got all this strength to ground you, and you're in this process of rebirth, and it's exactly where you're supposed to be right now. But your future suggests that you will continue to hide yourself. And this could be by necessity. You could be in a situation where you can't, whatever truths you just learned about yourself and the identity that you are integrating into yourself right now, This is still a process you're going through. You're not fully formed yet. Well, no one is, but whatever it is that you're learning to accept about yourself, this sort of freak flag aspect, you're gathering strength from the earth. It's just like spectacular weirdo energy. I'm getting spectacular weirdo energy here. I really like it. But you're at a process. I had a reading for someone pretty recently where I was saying the same thing. So it's possible that you're watching this again, and this message is for more than just you, obviously. But if it is you, and you know who you are, this is just more confirmation of that. There's still that warning. There's a warning for some of you out there that you could start. I always think of the Five of Swords as being lying to yourself, and the Seven of Swords being lying to others. And that's an oversimplification of those two cards, but there's a certain level of like you are learning to accept something about yourself and integrate into your identity, but you're thinking about like whether or not you need to tell others. And maybe you don't need to tell them. Maybe it's none of their fucking business. But right now you're still in that process of deciding like, who am I going to tell? Am I going to tell anyone? If I do, who? You know, like you're still in that process of like deciding. There's a lot of thinking about what to do next. Now that you know who you are, what's next? I think for some of you, you're using some of that anxiety in choosing where to put the swords. Choosing, this could also, this is probably, for some of you, this is a reminder that like there are some people in your life that aren't going to accept this new part of you. But that doesn't matter because they need to be cut out. Like 7 swords on that necklace, you can use one to cut out 1 to 1. You might need to cut 7 people out of your life right now. 7s are about standing up for yourself in some way. And for you, you might not even have to say anything or do anything. You may just need to remind yourself when those people show themselves to you, those people that are, in this sense, maybe it's not you lying to others, maybe it's someone else lying to you. So when you see those people that are lying to you, and this could manifest as they're actually lying to you and deceiving you and cheating you, or this could manifest as they're not being truly authentic, and you're at a space right now where you're ready to be truly authentic with yourself, and you're sick of surrounding yourself with others that aren't being authentic with themselves. And so whoever those people are, once they show their true colors to you in whatever way that they do, and it's usually some kind of, they're trying to hide it, but you can see who they really are underneath. And when you see who they really are underneath, it's okay to let them go. And that might be someone in your family that you actually are going to interact with. But as long as you have made that shift within yourself where you know that they have 2 faces, and 2 faces here, 2 faces here, you know that there's some kind of deception going on with them. And in some cases, you will need to actually, just for your own self-worth, confront them about it and tell them off. But in other cases, it won't be necessary for you to do that because you are heading into this, like this crow action here, these 2 different crows. This is wisdom. The crone is all about wisdom, and this is about listening to wisdom. You are headed towards, I mean, this is kind of a beautiful process here. You've got all this strength around you. You've got this rebirth. You're accepting who you are. But the next step is going to be deciding who to surround yourself with in this new form. You know, you have like transformed and you've cracked out of your like cocoon and you're ready to fly. But some things in your past life are still holding you back because that shit worked for you before. Like those people that you were around back in these days when you were still denying certain aspects of yourself. It was fine to hang out with those people then because they fit into the identity that you were in at that time. But you've changed and they haven't. So there are some people and some ideas that used to work for you that no longer do. And that's true of anyone. You know, we all change and adapt, and the people that we have in our lives will walk our paths with us as long as it makes sense. As long as your worldview is shared with them. But once it's no longer shared, it's time to move on. And you don't know who all those people are yet. They haven't all shown their true colors to you yet, but they will. And when it happens, this is your homework for the month, listening to wisdom. Pay attention to those moments where they show themselves to you. Your intuition is going to be right when you get to that point. You're going to know. There are moments in life where, like, it just becomes really clear who's here for you and who isn't. And you're in one of those moments right now. You're there with your theremin, and when your theremin makes that shrieking sound that sounds really awful, you know that it's indicating a person or thing that it's time to let go of. This is pretty cool, actually. I like where you are right now because you're in sort of a transition space. Like, you're still the student of knowing this new aspect of your personality. You know, you're still accepting the freakiness within you, but you're finding strength in it. And the more you accept it and the more you cut the poisonous people and ideas out of your life, for some of you, you're leaving religion right now, and you needed to for a long time. And by leaving religion, I mean you're leaving some, like, confining version of spirituality that didn't work for you, and you're creating your own path. There's a certain level of, like, you are forging your own path right now in a way that you've needed to do for a while, but you haven't had the strength to do it. And now you have all the strength in the world, and you are ready for that rebirth, and hell is here to support you. Hell is... I love that, like, one of the reasons why I had to get this deck immediately, because I don't have any decks with hell in them. And she's, like, one of the, like, important figures for me, that she kind of shows up again and again. And she's definitely got that wisdom and that crone energy that you need to kind of take yourself in. Like, some of you, you're going on a dark path, and when I say dark path, I don't mean, like, bad or evil. I mean, like, you are accepting an alternative way of facing your shadow aspects, your dark aspects. For a lot of y'all, you're Slytherin, but not in a I want to be evil to people way, but in a, like, I'm embracing the path of Ursula kind of way. Like, you identify more with Ursula and Maleficent than you do with Ariel and Aurora, you know? You are going down that freaky journey, and you're wearing your black lipstick and you've got your fangs out, and you're just, like, accepting it. You're accepting this level of yourself that you've not been able to do before. And there are people that are, again, I'm repeating myself, but that's because it needs to be done. Those 7 swords need to cut 7 people out. And maybe not literally. Maybe some of those things are ideas and not people. Maybe some of those things are places and not people. But there are some people that are not truly 100% authentic and in alignment with you that it's time to let go of. And this is the one card over here that, like, I haven't really referred to yet. I consume only my fair share. I think this is kind of a warning to you that even though you're in this beautiful transformation space, I think there's a little bit of a material girl warning in it, that, like, you might literally be, like, changing styles as part of this process. Like, or you maybe, like, whatever this piece of identity is, like, if you suddenly have decided that you are a musician and that really needs to come out, and so you think you need to buy the theremin and 6 other instruments and blah blah blah. This is, I consume only my fair share. This is just like a little reminder that like whenever you're in those little purchase moments where you really want to buy something, this is a reminder to stay thoughtful about who you buy from, about when you buy things, especially in like quarantine times. Like, I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing to like order things in the mail right now, but make sure that it's something that isn't just frivolous. Make sure it's very thoughtful. Make sure that you are being fair and that you know for almost 90, just be like 90% sure that that thing that you're about to buy, not only can you afford it, but that you're buying it from an ethically good place. You know, don't let that like sort of like deceitful ugliness draw you in. Make sure that you are doing everything you can to keep your postal workers safe, or, you know, things like that. Like, just, this is just kind of a gentle reminder that like if you are, and I don't think this is for everyone that picked this pile, but for some of you, you are being tempted to buy all the things that go with your new identity right now, whatever that is. And just like a certain level of excess, just make sure you don't cross that line. I don't think you have crossed it yet, but I think for some of you, this is just when that moment comes where you're almost going to buy too much, you can kind of remind yourself, like, hey, do I really, just like an extra step? Are you sure? Are you sure you meant to delete that file? Are you sure you meant to purchase this item? Like, give yourself an extra step and make sure that like it's really, everything is just for you. Like, there's this general feeling of alignment. Some things are aligned, some things are not, and it's gonna be pretty clear to you, or it's gonna become pretty clear to you soon what is what. Like, you're literally going to, some of you, you're literally going to start like looking at people and seeing this card. You're going to be seeing, and this is hard because right now, like, we got this like sort of mask energy going here and here, and like, just trying to see, no other mask energy here, no. There's this sort of like, everybody's going to be wearing masks out in public for a while. Like, literally, they are. So it's going to be hard to like, whenever you see your loved ones in masks, literally, that you're not automatically equating them with this moment. But what I mean when I say you're going to literally see them this way is that you're going to start to, there's going to be a visual aspect of it for a lot of you. Like, when you're around people again. So this is the future. When you are around people again, when the quarantines have lifted to a certain extent to where you're actually interacting with people again, you are going to see them in a way that you didn't see them before. And there's wisdom in that. So pay attention to what you feel when you see them again in this new way, and with your new vision. Because I feel like the last couple months for you have just been crucial as far as like accepting certain aspects of your equilibrium, your identity, your space where you are right now. And it's going to be more obvious than ever. Like, people that, I mean, it's almost like for some of you, literally, you're going to go back to work, and there's going to be somebody that you've always worked with, that you've worked with closely for a long time. And you're going to see their bullshit really clearly for the first time. Even if you've known them for a long time, you're going to see it. And that's kind of exciting and kind of cool. It's not that fun to realize that somebody that you're around might be a snake, but you're going to be able to see it, and at least you can adjust accordingly. All right, I think that's all I've got for you. I hope you guys have a wonderful week, wonderful month, and I will see you in the next video.